Young Sheldon was never supposed to be Georgie's story. The title literally tells you who the show is about. Sheldon Cooper, the boy genius, the socially awkward prodigy, the future physicist, the kid whose destiny was already written long before the first episode even aired. But somewhere along the way, something unexpected happened. The character, who was supposed to be comic relief, became one of the most compelling people in the entire show. The older brother who started as the dumb one, the screw-up, the guy who sold tires and chased girls, slowly became the emotional center of the Cooper family. And by the end of Young Sheldon, Georgie Cooper didn't just become more likable. He became the character you rooted for the most. He became the one with the clearest growth. He became the one carrying the real weight of the family. And in a show called Young Sheldon, Georgie somehow stole the show, because Sheldon may have been the genius, but Georgie was the one who had to grow up. At the beginning of Young Sheldon, Georgie is not presented as someone we're supposed to take seriously. He's the classic older brother archetype. He's not great in school. He's interested in money, girls, cars, and football. Compared to Sheldon, he seems almost comically ordinary. And that contrast is important. Sheldon is treated like a once-in-a-generation mind. Teachers obsess over him, Mary protects him, George tries to understand him, Meemaw encourages him. The whole family orbit bends around Sheldon's needs because Sheldon is exceptional. Georgie, meanwhile, is just expected to be fine. And that becomes one of the most quietly tragic parts of his character. Because Georgie grows up in a house where being normal makes you invisible. He is not as academically gifted as Sheldon. He is not as emotionally expressive as Missy. He is not as openly protected by Mary. So he gets pushed into this role where everyone assumes he can handle himself. But the truth is, Georgie is still a kid. He still needs guidance. He still needs approval. He still needs someone to notice when he is struggling. The problem is that in the Cooper household, Sheldon's problems are always louder. If Sheldon is uncomfortable, the family adjusts. If Sheldon is scared, everyone rallies. If Sheldon has an opportunity, sacrifices are made. But Georgie's struggles are usually treated like poor choices. That difference matters. When Sheldon is difficult, people call it brilliance. When Georgie is difficult, people call it irresponsibility. And yet, as the show goes on, Georgie starts proving something that no one in his family fully appreciates at first. He may not be book smart, but he is capable, he is practical, he understands people. He has instincts, he can sell, he can negotiate, he can work, he can provide, he can adapt. And unlike Sheldon, Georgie's intelligence is not theoretical. It is survival intelligence. That is why his storyline becomes so compelling. Because Georgie's growth does not come from being told he is special. It comes from being forced to figure things out when no one is coming to save him. One of the biggest turning points for Georgie is his relationship with Mandy. At first, it looks like another example of Georgie being immature. He lies about his age. He gets into a relationship he is not emotionally prepared for. Then Mandy gets pregnant, and suddenly Georgie's life changes forever. This could have easily been written as just another Georgie messed up again storyline, but instead it becomes the moment where his character starts transforming. Because Georgie does not run. He panics, he makes mistakes, he says dumb things. He is awkward and immature at times, but he stays. And that is the key difference. A lesser version of Georgie's character would have been written as a selfish teenager who avoids responsibility. But Young Sheldon lets him become something more complicated and much more human. He is scared, but he tries. He's young, but he steps up. He's overwhelmed, but he does not abandon Mandy or the baby. And slowly, the audience starts to realize that Georgie has something many of the other characters underestimate. Character. Not perfect character, not polished character, but real character. He is loyal. He is hardworking. He is willing to take embarrassment if it means doing the right thing. and in a family full of people who are often trapped inside their own perspectives, Georgie becomes one of the few characters who actually changes because life demands it from him. That is what makes him so easy to root for. Sheldon's arc is mostly about becoming more Sheldon. Georgie's arc is about becoming more than anyone expected. Sheldon is already destined for greatness. We know where his life goes. We know he becomes a Nobel Prize-winning physicist. We know he becomes successful. We know the world eventually validates him. But Georgie's future feels more fragile. He does not have a genius label protecting him. He does not have universities waiting for him. He does not have adults constantly telling him that he is special. So when Georgie succeeds, it feels earned. When he works hard, it matters. When he tries to support Mandy, it matters. When he becomes a father before he is ready, it matters. Because Georgie is not being carried by destiny. He is being forced to grow up. And that is what makes his story so much more relatable. Most people are not child prodigies. Most people do not have their entire future mapped out for them. But a lot of people know what it feels like to be underestimated. A lot of people know what it feels like to mess up and then have to live with the consequences. That is Georgie. He is not perfect. He lies, he panics, he says the wrong thing, and sometimes he acts more confident than he actually is. But the reason he works as a character is because he keeps coming back. He keeps trying. His relationship with Mandy proves this. At first, Georgie wants to be seen as grown-up. But once Cece enters the picture, he has to actually become grown-up. He learns that love is not just romance or charm. Sometimes love is work. Sometimes it is patience. Sometimes it is showing up when things are awkward, embarrassing, or hard. That is where Georgie stops being comic relief. He becomes the character with the most adult arc in the show. And after George dies, that arc becomes even heavier. Georgie loses the last part of his childhood almost instantly. Sheldon gets to leave for his academic future, but Georgie stays behind with the family. He becomes a husband, a father, and eventually the person who helps hold everyone together. That is why his resentment in The Big Bang Theory makes so much more sense after young Sheldon. Georgie was not angry for no reason. He felt abandoned because in many ways, he was. Sheldon was allowed to chase greatness. Georgie had to deal with the aftermath, and that is the quiet tragedy of Georgie Cooper. He was never really dumb. He was just gifted in a way his family did not know how to measure. Sheldon understood science. Georgie understood people. Sheldon was born extraordinary. Georgie had to become reliable. And maybe that is why he stole the show. Because Sheldon was interesting, but Georgie was human. His mistakes had weight. His growth felt real. His victories felt earned. Young Sheldon may have started as the story of a boy genius, but somewhere along the way, Georgie became the emotional center of the show. He was overlooked. He was underestimated. He was constantly compared to a brother he could never compete with on paper. But in the end, Georgie did not need to be Sheldon. He became dependable. He became resilient. He became the person who stayed. And that is why, in a show called Young Sheldon, Georgie Cooper became the main character no one saw coming.